In this video, we will be comparing the particles the, and di. Oftentimes in Mandarin, the three particles all have the same pronunciation, but each of them serve different grammatical functions. Let's look at the first particle. The answers what kind of noun. Its function is to describe or modify nouns. For example, you would have an adjective plus the plus noun. Or sometimes it serves to show possession. This particle can also be used to mark nominalization. For example, turning verbs or adjectives into nouns. So you would have a verb plus de, or an adjective plus de. Let's take a look at some examples. You could say, 这是一本有趣的书. This is an interesting book. This answers what kind of book? 有趣的. An interesting one. In a second example, you could say, 这是我朋友的电脑. This is my friend's computer. This answers whose computer? 朋友的, my friend's. This shows possession. Here are some verb nominalization examples. 吃的, which means something to eat. 贵的, which means expensive stuff. Here are the three patterns which this first particle usually uses. In this first pattern, you often have an adjective or a noun phrase followed by the particle the, followed by a noun. In the second pattern, you have a verb followed by the particle the, which makes a noun. And lastly, in the third pattern, you can often have an adjective followed by the particle the, which makes a noun as well. Now let's move on to the second particle, the, sometimes pronounced the with 第二声. It answers verb plus the 怎么样, which means how well. Its function is to be used after a verb or an adjective to introduce a complement. It can be used to describe degree, result, or manner. Let's now look at some examples of the second particle. 他跑步跑得快. He runs fast. This is used to describe how someone runs, or how well someone runs. In a second example, you could say, 他说汉语说得很好. He speaks Mandarin very well. This specifically describes the manner of how someone speaks. In a third example, you could say, 他高兴地跳起来. He was so happy that he jumped. This describes a result. Here you can see the two patterns which this second particle generally follows. In the first pattern, you have a verb followed by the particle the, followed by a complement. In the second pattern, you can have an adjective followed by the particle the, followed by a complement. Let's now look at the third and last particle, the, sometimes pronounced di with 第四声. It answers how plus a verb. Its function is to turn adjectives or phrases into adverbs to describe how an action is done. Let's again look at some examples. In this first example, you can say, 她开心地笑了. She smiled happily. Which answers, how did she smile? 开心地, happily. In the second example, you could say, 请认真地听. Please carefully listen. It answers, how should you listen? 认真地, carefully. In this third example, you can say, 请慢慢地走. Please slowly walk. It answers, how should you walk? 慢慢地, slowly. In this fourth example, you can say, 我会认真地工作. I will diligently work. Here, the particle makes the adverb, diligently, 认真地. In this last and fifth example, you can say, 我一定要努力地学习. I will surely put all my effort to studying. The particle here makes the adverb, 努力地, to make an effort. Please like and subscribe to watch more videos like this with us at Toronto Chinese Academy.